I honestly wasn't expecting to enjoy Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery, but Woody Harrelson is in the second film, so I figured, well, I might as well watch the first film first, and I really enjoyed this. The narrative itself doesn't necessarily appeal to me, but there are so many other aspects that are just so fantastic that I still really thoroughly enjoyed this. And I also would have watched it at some point anyway, because Carrie Fisher's in it, very briefly, but even with that aside, I thought this was pretty fantastic, and I can really see why people really thoroughly enjoy this film. It was released in 1997. It's directed by Jay Roach. It's written by Mike Myers, and we have a cast including Mike Myers, Elizabeth Hurley, Mimi Rogers, Michael York, Will Ferrell. As I said, we have Carrie Fisher at one point. Amazing cast, incredible performances, visually stunning. The costumes are amazing. Let me check who did the costumes for this. Costume is by Dina Appel or Appel. I apologize if I've mispronounced that. The costumes are just incredible. Visually, it's stunning. It's such a beautiful experience. The narrative itself, I don't hate it. It's the narrative that kind of made me think I wasn't going to enjoy this, but actually, I really did. It starts off in the 60s, and Dr. Evil, who is played by Mike Myers, freezes himself, and when it comes to the 90s, he will become unfrozen. But Austin Powers, a British spy, also freezes himself so that he can be unfrozen when Dr. Evil is unfrozen, so he can then try and capture Dr. Evil and stop Dr. Evil from causing chaos in the future. As a concept, there's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't seem like something that would appeal to me. But I have to say, while I didn't love every aspect of the narrative, I did find it to be quite thrilling. And I think the characters are so well written. Did I mention that Mike Myers also plays Austin Powers? I don't know if I did, but yeah, Mike Myers plays Austin Powers and Dr. Evil, which is just absolutely fantastic. And the narrative flows well, the pacing's good. We have these elements of the 60s being carried into the 90s, which in itself is a really interesting concept. And honestly, there's nothing about the narrative that doesn't work. There's nothing that I didn't necessarily care for. As I said, I don't love every aspect of the narrative based purely on personal preference, but there wasn't anything specific I kind of actively disliked. I was just a little bit indifferent to parts of it here and there. But that being said, I'd still say I kind of enjoyed the story, and I was keen to see what would happen by the end of the film, and of course I'm not going to give that away. But as a story, I liked it more than I thought. I didn't completely love it, but that's not the film's fault, that's personal preference. The characters are very well written, amazing performances, visually stunning. The costumes look great, the props, the set designs, just everywhere you look. It is so fun. It is so colourful. It's just absolutely incredible. And I can understand why this has 7 out of 10 on IMDb across 265,000 reviews and ratings. That's a very high rating, and I have to say, I agree. I wasn't expecting to agree. I wasn't even expecting to enjoy it, so I'm very impressed. Really looking forward to the second one. Wasn't expecting to say this, but I might end up watching the third one as well. We'll see how the second one does, and I will be watching that one pretty much immediately. Often when I'm watching films like this, I will give myself a bit of distance before watching the next film. But I think I'm going to watch the next one today. Really keen to see what it's about. International Man of Mystery was significantly better than I expected based on personal preference. And I have to say, I pretty much enjoyed every aspect of it. It's a brilliant film. The performances are amazing. The characters are great. The costumes are incredible. And ultimately, I can't complain. I have no complaints. Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery was not the experience I was expecting. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I completely understand why a lot of people seem to really love this film.